Okay, we are carrying on with the exercises of Lecture 1. We're now looking at Exercise 3, where we are going to introduce to you how to work with files. Okay, so you have been working with files before in Informatics 154. You use the rich text box to get data, to write to a rich text file, and you also read data from a rich text file and displayed it in a rich text box. Now the input into and from files in C# works via streams. Any input or output device can be accessed via streams. Now if you have input from character files, that is handled by stream reader class methods or stream writer. The main methods that we're going to use is a read line, read to end, write line, and close. As we carry on, I will explain each of these in more detail. Now, for any, if you want to work with stream, you have to object. You have to specify its namespace. Now, what I've done in the meantime is on this. You remember this form, the new one that we created. I've created a text box, a multi-line text box, and two buttons named Write to File and Read from File. Now, we are going eventually to allow the user to enter data into the text box, and if the user then clicks on Write to File, the data will be written to a text file, and if the user clicks on Read from File, it will be displayed again inside the text box. Now the first thing we have to do, if we use the stream object, we have to change the namespace, or we have to specify its namespace. So in the form menus code, we're going to specify that we're going to use this namespace. Right. Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we are now going to write the code, click event handlers for the buttons Write to File and Read to File. Let's start with Write to File. Now, to be able to work with files, there are always three things you need to do. The first is to open the file. So we must open or declare the file. We have to access the file by reading or writing to it, and we have to close the file. So those three things we are now going to do. So to open the file or to declare the file, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create an object of the class stream writer, and we're just going to call it output file. Now output file, we're going to initialize and in the following way. Here we give the name of the file to which we want to save the data. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing we need to do, we now need to write the data to this file. And this is where we use the write line method. And what is it that we're going to write to that file? We're going to use write the data that was entered in the text box to the file. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to close the file. Okay, and then something else that I want to do is to clear the text box to get it ready for another another round of data to be saved or to be displayed. Okay, and that is why I add the following code. Okay. so now if I run the program, let's see what happens now. Okay, so here I have the form, and I'm going to add a few. Let's say we list all the programming modules of informatics. All right, and now I say write to file. Okay, so you can see the text box is cleared. Now, where is it now? Let's go and look for it. Okay, so I go to my Windows Explorer. I know it will be in Documents, under Projects. Okay, there is the one I'm busy with. I'm going to the bin folder, and inside the bin folder there's a debug folder, and if I open there, I see the data that I entered. Okay. Right, so now let's say we now want to read that data back from the file, and it must be displayed inside the text box. So again, we have those three things that we need to do, and we can start off by, first of all, open the file. So we do that by declaring or creating an object of the class stream reader, and we use exactly the same name as we declared the one that we created in the right button click event handler. Second part, we're now going to get the data and display it inside the text box. There are two ways in which you can do it. It can either be line, you use it line per line, so it's a read line statement, or you can do it in one go, and that is what I'm going to do. Okay, so let's just go through the code again. So first of all, I open the file by declaring an object of the class stream reader. This is the file I want to be opened. Now, in the second part of this event handler, I'm declaring a string variable. I'm assigning everything in the file to that string variable, and then I'm displaying that string variable in the text box. The last one is to close the file. Right, so let's run this program now. Okay, remember I've already created the file and there's already data in it. Now I want to read from it, so I just click on read from it, and there the data is displayed.